welcome back. Uncensored Locks. Today you're just going to be riding with me, G Baby, because Black Combo and Yellow Vesta is not here for this interview. But I am excited to announce to you that we have another interview coming to you today from Arroyo. You remember her from Ali Squad. She did go ahead and reach out to us, and we're going to be hosting her interview. Her explaining why she walked away from the YouTube community after our last interview and what's bringing her back, her future views for this new channel that she's starting, and all the tea. If you aren't familiar with the last interview, I will go ahead and plug those links down below so you can go ahead and watch it, because we're going to refrain from talking about that last interview here and refrain from mentioning certain names in this new interview. Also, one thing that Arroyo does speak about in here is how important it is to focus on yourself, your mental health, your well-being, and things of that nature, having to take that break and get herself together. So I wanted to take the liberty to go ahead and plug some links down below for anyone interested in looking for self-help books and things like that. I wanted to go ahead and find some really good ones that I know and list them down below. Only cost you what pays the cost of the book, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. It does help support our channel, so go ahead and check out the links listed down below. And without further ado, here's the interview. Thank you for reaching out to us again, giving me the opportunity to do yet again another interview with you. I'm very appreciative of that, especially since I had the opportunity to do your first interview. It's great to be able to follow up and welcome you back into the YouTube community. But I know that there was some things that you wanted to address and some things that you wanted to clear up, and I'm here for it. We're all here for it. And this is going to be your opportunity to say everything you want to say and answer some questions that I may have and a lot of people in the YouTube community had shortly before you exited.
I just wanted to let you know that I'm very appreciative that you took the interview, you know, because it's vice versa, you know. You could have not taken the interview and said, no, I had enough, you know, and but you did. So, you know, I'm very appreciative of that.
All right, well, you know what? Let's get right back in. Let's just get into it. Let's dive in.
Make sure my volume is up.
And you can hear me clear?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to just start off with the first question, and that's, do you feel like your old friendship, and we won't mention that person's name, but do you feel like that old friendship that went sour had contributed to you exiting the YouTube community?
It did. It did contribute to me exiting the YouTube community because it was attacking my kids. And, you know, when it comes to kids or my kids, that's, for me, that's a serious thing. And, you know, it's just something that I had to back away from because of the safety of my kids.
Okay. Okay. And a lot of people claimed that when everything played out, that you played victim. When it was your drama that was on the spotlight, and they basically compared it to what your channel was built on when it came to you putting out other YouTubers' drama. So what is your response to that?
You know, when I was being attacked, I didn't really care, because that's what T pages are about. You know, like, people are not going to like what you say. They're not going to like your opinion. But when it came to my kids, you don't play the victim for your kids. The only time I spoke up was when my kids were being attacked. When someone threatened to call social services on my kids and threatened to remove my kids from my home. That's when the situation got serious.
Okay. So what would you say initiated you reaching out to me in the first interview?
I felt that I wanted someone who was going to really be interested in the severeness of this situation and not just to get views. You know, someone who's going to be sincere with me, who was going to respect and really listen to what I had to say. And, you know, because taking an interview is like, you know, you have to make sure that the person that you're interviewing is not putting your channel at risk as well. That they're just not selling you, you know, a whole bunch of lies. And then you're the one that ends up getting the backlash, you know. So I think that getting to know me, you try to make sure that I was genuine with what I was telling you, because you wasn't going to put your channel at risk.
At all. At all.
no matter how small it was at the time. Can you briefly discuss with us your previous relationship with Doma Wilson?
Well, before I defended her, before I got to know her, I was already defending her. And it wasn't because of, like everybody assumed that I automatically knew her. I didn't know her until March. Okay. So I defended her because I blindly and cold-heartedly believed that, the person that was doing and retaliating against her was actually trying to cause her harm, trying to damage her career. And that is the reason why I stood up for her. It wasn't until a while later that she noticed that I was always defending her and defending her son that she began to follow me on Twitter.
Okay. And how did that relationship end?
That relationship ended because the person that I trusted, that befriended me, was trying to get to her and give her certain information. And I was already getting a lot of backlash from Mila.
Okay. Hold off on the Mila part. I have a few questions about that later. So we'll get back into, we'll come back around to that part.
Okay.
Okay. So you had your issues and the relationship ended because what?
There was a situation with Lou Valentino and Jayla Coriani. I think that's her name, like her full name. And when Jayla found out that Lou was dealing with Damo, she exposed Lou because Lou used her and Lou used another girl that made a video, but nobody really paid attention to that. And all this time I was telling Damo, like when we actually started connecting, I told her, this guy's no good for you. I made a video, and she seemed to like convince me otherwise, like, oh, he's a nice guy, you don't know him, So I gave her the benefit of the doubt. Then when she began to attack Jayla is when I got upset. And I didn't condone that because I felt the problem was Lou. He was trying to use you. This was another black female telling you, hey, he's trying to use you because he used me and he used the girls previously. So when I didn't, I was upset and I told the person that I trusted, that was the only person that knew that Dama was in contact with me. And the reason,
more info on that topic, that interview will be linked in the description below, but we're not going to really say her name, mention her, or talk about her in this video either.
Okay.
Okay. You mentioned Mila attacking you. Can you explain?
She began to attack me because on Dominic's birthday, Damo's son, she put up a picture. And before that, there were days that she was counting down. And it was like to kind of press Damo's buttons. And since I was always in the defense of Damo, my first thought was to defend her son because he's a baby. And before that, he was already getting bullied by somebody else, putting pictures up and saying like, inappropriate things because Chrissy wasn't there for him. So they were putting up pictures of that. Anybody that knows, that remembers, because they were coming to me telling me, oh, this is what's going on. And I had to report a lot of those pictures. So when Chrissy put the picture up, I, automatically came to the defense because I said, this is a baby and you're using a baby for your profit. Because if you really cared about that child, you would have been there for that child. But you used them for your profit and to mess with Damo. You wanted to mess with her. You wanted to mess with her career because you no longer had, in my opinion, could get those funds that she was getting because you weren't together anymore. So when I reported that picture and I asked my supporters to report that picture as well, that's when Mila posted up my picture on her page and told all her supporters to come and attack me. And that's when I was being attacked and messages were, people were just being nasty. But I didn't pay attention to it because I didn't care. It wasn't about my kids. So I didn't care. I ignored it. I brushed it off. I deleted messages. So
one thing, one of the questions that was asked often in regards to this topic in our last interview and last discussion, a lot of people were asking, what was it that made you defend a kid that wasn't yours, that you weren't related to or didn't know?
You don't have to, that doesn't have to biologically be blood related or your child to defend them. Because if it was my kid and somebody was picking on my kid, I would expect a grown person with common sense and humanity to come and defend my child. Mm-hmm. You don't take an innocent child and pick on them or use them, because that's immorally wrong. That's immoral. That's inhumane to just use a child for your benefit. So he doesn't have to be my kid. I'm not a selfish person. I'm a selfless person. I like to help other people. Okay. And children especially, like when it comes to kids, I have a soft spot, even with my kids. My wife, she's the one that does the more stronger disciplining, and I'm a little weaker at heart because I was a child at one point. I went through a lot of stuff as a kid. And so I think about those same things that children suffer and what they go through. And it wasn't fair that Dominic at the time was a 2-year-old and couldn't even defend himself. And because Dama was at such a higher state, you know, her publicist probably told her, don't speak out to this, don't do this. I wasn't at a higher state, so of course I was going to speak out and defend the kid, regardless if it was my kid or not. And I would expect a decent human being to do the same for my children.
So you did not do this in any way, shape, or form for your personal gain?
Absolutely not. Because if I wanted personal gain, I would have had Martin Lewis do the interview. And he wanted to do the interview. And I picked a smaller channel for the purpose of someone being sincere with me, someone understanding what was going on. Not only understanding my part, but understanding the situation in general. I don't want you to just be biased to my opinion. I want you to know what you're doing. Because with Martin Lewis,
you also had the option of using a well-established YouTube channel that you built yourself, and you didn't choose to pursue.
Martin Lewis was pissed off. He was pissed off because I didn't want to interview with him. And then he started coming at me as well.
Okay. Is that something you want to talk about or no?
No, because it's irrelevant. Like, I wanted my story to be done by a genuine person. That's just it. Okay. If it was about clout, I would have used him. And he had 100 and something thousand followers.
Touche. Touche. When you stopped posting videos, was your intent to quit or was it to take a break?
It was to take a break. I actually hid my page. I didn't want to delete my channel. And what happened was I Googled on YouTube how to hide your page because I needed a mental break. I needed an emotional break. My children are off limits. And when it got to that point that this person that I trusted gave information to Martin Lewis and Martin Lewis didn't care and put my phone number that I had to change my number, he put my phone number public. And on top of that, he let out a location where my children would stay. And if the father at any moment wanted to come and get my kids, he knew exactly where to go. So he put my children's life in danger. So I had to back away. Now, what ended up happening was...
that was my next question. What happened that caused you to just completely rebuild your page and start over?
Well, when I went back to open my page, I might have had a misstep or something went wrong that you can still see me, right? Because I keep seeing my little thing turn black. But when I went to get back to my page, the videos were there, the views were there, the subscribers were gone.
Oh, wow.
Was gone.
And how many subscribers did you have at the time?
I had about close to 4,500 subscribers. All of them were gone.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, I took that as a sign that God told me, you need a break. You need not a week break, not 2 weeks break. You need a break. Mm-hmm. So I just said, you know, I don't want this negative attention. I don't want, because when I came to do YouTube, it was to help and embrace other women who needed embracing, who needed help, who needed to hear things to build them up.
Okay.
Because I don't get joy out of tearing down other women or anybody. But if you come at me the wrong way, of course I'm going to defend myself. I'm not a punk, you know, but the channel was mainly to talk about sex trafficking, to talk about child trafficking, to talk about abduction, to talk about domestic violence, the things that matter in this world that people seem to forget because they're too busy wanting the tea. Like,
so what's bringing you into the YouTube community? What's bringing you back into the YouTube community?
Because my heart was always set on doing the right thing by children, by women, even by men who have gone through things, because I can't just say only women go through stuff. You know, men and women and children go through things. Okay. And if I had the support that I'm giving, I probably would be a different person today.
Okay. And what is your vision for your new channel? How do you see it going forward?
I see me doing what I want with, like, in regards to the things that matter. You know, the topics that I spoke about: sex trafficking, human trafficking, child abduction, molestation, domestic violence, because there are a lot of teenagers who are misguided. There are kids who are misguided, and it's up to us, the adults. It doesn't have to be your kid. It's our job to guide them back. Because if they're not educated, then these things happen to them. And I'm not saying, you know, if they're more educated, then it's a lesser chance that a child will be abducted. Then it's a lesser chance that a woman will be trafficked. It's a lesser chance that a woman will have a domestic violence situation. Because we're not taking the initiative in educating each other. We're not doing right by one another.
As a matter of fact, taking this opportunity to plug, and I'm pretty sure your new channel has some video on in regards to this, but the Uncensored Locks has a video directed towards sex trafficking, and I believe I saw on your page as well. So we'll go ahead and link those for y'all. It's a very serious topic that's going on, and it's a really big epidemic, and people aren't paying enough attention to it. So I do want to just go ahead and plug that real quick. Go ahead.
You want me to finish talking about?
Was that all for your channel? You ready for your next question, or?
Yeah, we can, like that. Those are the main things that I want to do with my channel. Like, those are important to me.
B part to that question is, so your channel will not be primarily a tea channel anymore.
I don't think it was ever, like, I talked about things. I talked about logical, common sense things.
Okay.
The only thing I could tell you is that I was very aggressive. And, you know, when I took that break, it gave me a chance to think about that. Like, my opinion.
That's my next question.
So, you know, it will have some tea, but it will be based on looking at both sides. Getting information from both sides. Yeah. So an unbiased opinion.
Okay. And has this break helped you? And if so, how?
It has helped me to recognize my flaws, because even though I recognize them, we still have flaws every day that we have to recognize. And
that's important, seeing your own flaws.
Yeah. And it has also helped me to understand that it's hard to get all the words out. You know, when I put my opinion out about Chrissy, it wasn't to say, go and bully this person, because that's not the type of person that I am. Now, the way I approached it, yes, I should have took a better approach and looked at the situation. Did I like the things that Chrissy did on the internet? Absolutely not, because I have kids and I have one that's approaching, you know, teenage. And I don't want him seeing these inappropriate things. So whenever I think about children, I look from the perspective of my own kids and what I would want and what I wouldn't want for them. So, you know, when I took that break, I thought about that, and I thought about, you know, what I wanted to do different, and just to let my supporters know that they are valuable to me. They are important, you know, and that, you know, I felt bad when I walked away.
Okay. And before we end this interview, Alicia, do you have anything you want to say to your followers and future followers?
To my followers, the ones that stood by me and the ones that in the future will stand by me. I would never condone anybody bullying. That's not something I would say, go ahead and do this. If I feel that something is right, I have to take a better approach. But my point, like my thing is, it was never, from the people that followed me before, it was never to disregard you, because I felt like I let you down, and that wasn't my intention to let you down, but I needed a mental and an emotional break. And my Instagram is open, has always been open, even though I shut down the YouTube. And anybody who reached out to me, I answer them back. And to the new people, I just want to encourage you to do better things. If you aren't already doing better things, to uplift you and make sure that I give you the right encouraging words. It may not always be perfect, but I hope that some form of way I touch you in a place that when you end up in a situation that is tough, you remember that I spoke about this situation and you know how to get out of that situation. So my main focus for my new and my old supporters, which has always been, is to uplift women who need it, who want it and deserve it, who are looking and seeking for that help.
And as we said earlier in this interview, we didn't want to go too much in detail about certain people. So if that's what you're here for, you can go ahead and just refer to the links below to find out that whole story. But this one is more about you pushing forward in your future. And like I said in the beginning, I want to thank you so much for giving the Uncensored Locks the opportunity to take this interview and basically push you back out there. You know, you gave us a big opportunity before, and I would love to have the same opportunity for you, and for us to still work together in the future as we have.
Yeah, I appreciate that you took the time, you know, and I'm not going to give you anything but genuine like responses, because I don't like to mislead or misguide anybody. And, you know, through the whole time that I went through stuff, I had one YouTuber who was my friend that we still stay in contact. She defended me through the whole thing, but she can tell you herself that anytime she needed something or advice, I was there to give it to her. So, you know, I appreciate you. I appreciate Amanda, because you guys, like, we don't talk all the time, but you manage to, hey, how you doing? And I'll manage to ask, how you doing? How you feeling? How's your day going? You know, and it's about the genuineness. But thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate, you know, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we hope you enjoyed this video.